All right, you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, Okay, well we're just going to introduce who we are first. My name is Jackie Ray, and you probably, if you went to the kimono keynote earlier today, you saw me actually dressed up. I've given up because I have foot problems and I can't stand in their shoes very long. But Carrie's still dressed in kimono, so there we go. So I've been playing Otome Games for probably about, Carrie and I probably played them around the same time, so maybe. Yeah, it's been a little while, so I'll be honestly talking mostly about voltage games, because those are the kind of the ones I specialize in the most, meaning that I spend all my money on them.
I know, right?
All the time. It eats a hole in my wallet. Carrie, however, specializes in more of the PC platform games, so she'll talk about more of this today. So let me Carrie introduce herself.
So my name is Carrie Hubany. I'm losing my voice because I was helping in the registration line earlier this morning, if anyone saw that chaos. So, I've been playing Otome Games for like 5 years now. I got interested in it because of Alice in the Country of Hearts, which is on iPhone in horrible, horrible English.
Yes. Yes.
So, you can play it, you won't be able to understand it very well.
Yep. Alright, you want to do your turn?
So, who has actually played an Otome game?
Raise your hand.
Okay, and how many of you have played like PC Otome games? And how many of you have just played voltage games?
Pick voltage, it's the best!
Yes.
Okay, so you guys know the deal. You have a story, you have a pretty background, you have pretty character sprites that change their expression depending on what they're saying, pretty music. It's almost like a choose-your-own adventure novel, because at certain points in the game, you get to pick a choice, and it can end really bad. I've had lots of bad endings, and not fun, not gonna lie. So, mostly you see them, at least in the US, you mostly see them on the iPhone or Android. In Japan, they're on like every single system.
Yes.
Yep, our lives suck. They're not here a lot.
Okay, do you want to talk about this though?
So, Otome Games sometimes are referred to just like games where you have female protagonists, but usually, at least in the US when we're talking about them, it's mainly a female protagonist who is trying to date some other guys. So usually, you have around like maybe 5 to 6 guys. In an actual PC game or a PlayStation game, you like don't pick that guy first. Like in Voltage, you buy the character per route and you know you're going to get a good ending or a bad ending with that guy. PC games, you could be alone. I have done that so many times. 8 hours in,
Which is why I don't play PC games for the most part.
So, and usually the guys are like super bishy.
Example. Super. Alright.
Okay, and I talked about gameplay a little bit, and there's this wonderful thing called CGs in games, where sometimes the guy has his shirt off, maybe you see his abs, or maybe you see a kissy face with the female protagonist.
Just getting out of the shower.
So basically, if you want to play dating sims, Otome Games are dating sims, but aimed at girls.
Usually 20 to 30 years old, not usually younger, but that doesn't mean you can't play.
And
You want to next one?
yeah.
Okay, Carrie's gonna start talking about these.
So what I'm going to go through really quickly just to tell you guys about the games that actually are available in English. So it means you can understand them and it's more than just pretty pictures. So we have, probably the biggest known one is Hakuoki, which is where you date members of the Shinsengumi. And there's like 5-ish characters and one secret mini route, not completely full. Pretty cool. And then down here we have Yojinbo. It's not a serious game. I'm just gonna put that out there. You may think it's serious, it's not. So basically, you're this girl, you find a medallion, and suddenly you're transported to the past, and you've done a body swap with a princess, and she has these 3 guys guarding her. And yeah, you're like, oh, awesome sauce. And there actually are like 6 guys available in that game. And then down here in this corner is Star Project. It is a game that is online only, and what it is you're like a star management manager, and you find this really hot guy, and you're like, you're hot, you can be a model, you can do all these crazy things, you can sing, we're gonna go make money so I don't like get killed by mom. So I have issues with that game because it takes forever to finish, ridiculous, you have to play it every day, and if you get off one day, you're screwed. So I don't like that game. This game here is Sweet Fuse. And it has a really janky storyline. You get stuck in a carnival, and this like pig costume guy comes and blows up a part of the park and traps like you and 6 guys in the park and almost kills you all. It's like, wow. So, yep.
You knew it was coming!
First, I'm gonna talk about My Candy Love.
My Candy Love!
It's another online game. I think you can also download an app for it now. I always end up with a nerd no matter how many times I play it in front of classes. It's not really easy to figure out who you're gonna end up with, and it's another one you have to play every day, and those irritate me. Okay, how to fool boyfriend. You date pigeons. Who wants to date pigeons? So not gonna lie, I'm a horrible person and I haven't played this game yet, so I don't know a whole lot about it other than you date pigeons. And people didn't believe it was real at first, but it is, I promise. It's on Steam, it's official, and it should be coming out for, I think, PS4 and PS Vita. And then also this on here is Alice in a Country of Hearts. Horrible English on the iPhone.
Yes.
Pretty sure it's not on Android yet. Horrible English. So,
Can I insert one that actually... Has anyone heard of Guilty Alice? Okay, did y'all like that game?
It's alright.
Yeah, it's alright. That's another one that is available with not horrible English translations. If you want to play, it's a little bit of a different spin on the whole Alice in Wonderland. It's like, she broke a queen's heart. And so she has to, 30 days, has to make a new one. So I'm not gonna tell you what that means or anything in the game, but basically you can date the Mad Hatter, you can date the Joker, you can date, who's the other one? You can date the Prince, but there's hopefully gonna be more coming out because they didn't put Bill in the game, and Bill has green hair, so I just wanted to back that. So. Okay, next slide, sorry.
okay, so these games have not been officially translated. You have to go download a fan translation, and I'm gonna say buy the games online. They're gonna be ridiculously expensive. Fact of life, Otome Games in Japan range from like $60 to $80 coming out new, like especially on PSP. So this one up here is Starry Sky. You are a girl in an all-male academy. Real super original. Those are your 3 best friends you grew up with, and they all like you. That's pretty much, that is the basis of the story. Very pretty CGs. Like, I have an art book for the Starry Sky series, and it's probably my favorite art book, just with the art book alone and the CGs. Down here is Second Reproduction. I'm going to tell you to pirate that one, because it's not available. Unfortunately, Heterodoxy, the people who made the game, I guess bankrupt. I'm not sure about the full story, but you can't buy the game like new. You have to get it used, which everyone knows. You can't get those from Japan. It's ridiculous. So basically, you are a princess. The guy with the blonde hair is your knight, and you are going to kill the Demon King, the guy with black hair. And oh hey, guess what? The Demon King isn't quite as evil. Plot twist, like 30 minutes in, whoever you're romancing dies. And then you have this magical power, you got this key or something. It doesn't really explain it. And you go back in time, and you're like to when you first came to the country, and you're like, I know he's not evil. And you do the romance again with like no anger at the demons, and it goes better, maybe. There's bad in it. They screw you over. And over here in the top right is Prince Maker. It's sort of an Otome game. You can pick your gender, you can be male or female. If anyone's heard of Princess Maker, it's the exact same thing, but it's a prince. And there's like multiple endings. I'm gonna say that game's irritating, and you need a guide if you want to get it ending you want. I've tried 3 times for one ending, and I can't get it. And it irritates me, and it's like a stat raisin. So if you don't like stat raisin, stay away from it. Really cool storyline though. Boku no Shokara. It's this really weird guy who likes you, and he kidnaps you on Valentine's Day. And he's like, I will make you love me. It's really weird, it's cute.
Because that's adorable.
Very short, maybe like 30 minutes gameplay. There's only one guy you get to romance, the other guy in the background is your brother, so you don't romance him.
Oh, okay.
And still on the fan translation games. So these are actually the ones I haven't had a chance to really play. This is Joy of Nightmare, and the fan translation just came out a couple months ago. Same thing with Dot Furushi, which all I know is that you're playing a video game and you somehow get transported into the video game world. It's like, you know, original Final Fantasy graphics, 8-bit. And then all of a sudden your mage, who's all 8 bits, this really hot guy, and you're like, ooh. And he's like, oh, I want you. So,
That's a lot of most games.
honestly, I haven't played it, but like people have been squealing about it, so I'm just gonna assume it's good. This is Love Revo. I tried it, irritated me. It's another stat raising thing. It's actually really difficult. So it's on the Nintendo DS, so you have to download a Nintendo
Where's my
DS
DS?
emulator on the computer to do it. And the whole storyline is that when you were like 12 or something, you were this Japanese idol and you were all thin and pretty. And then after your popularity died, you were like, oh, who gives a crap? And you went and ate chocolate all the time. And now you're like huge, like 300 pounds. And they're all of a sudden you live in a boarding house because you're out of money. And your parents are like, hey, let's have these random guys come live with us. And you're like, oh my God, these are like the hottest guys in my school. I feel so horrible. So like, I feel that way. I've lost a lot of weight, so I totally feel that. But, so the whole purpose of the game is you're trying to lose weight and you're trying not to eat cake, and that's always an option for you to eat cake, but you gain like 5 pounds, and if you work out, you lose half a pound. So it's very realistic in that aspect. Very entertaining game. This is another Nintendo DS game, and I didn't put the name on it, and I actually don't remember what it's called. Oh, Tokimeki Memorial Girl Side. That's what it's called. They have 3 games. You need Nintendo DS emulators, a little bit of stat raising. So, haven't played it much, didn't like it. Okay, so I'm moving on to our English-based visual novels. Just fact of life, they're not as good as the Japanese ones. Yeah. So biggest one I know of is Winterfest. They have like all these games. Probably my favorite is Lauren the Amazon Princess. You can be male or female. You can be gay, bi, lesbian, whatever you want. It's on Steam. He does also like 50% sales every single holiday. So the game may be $20, but you're gonna get it for 10 if you just wait. And it has RPG elements and it's pretty awesome. That's the one I would recommend from Winterfest. His other one that did pretty well was Nicole. It's a mystery. These girls are getting abducted from campus and they're losing their memories. They're not dying or anything, so it's not that big of a deal. But you're like, I want to know why.
Abductions are no big deal.
He also likes, he favors in stat raising games mostly, because usually when he does just pure visual novels, they don't do as well. He also has a giant forum and he's very active with like web journals and on the forums and actually interacting with the guests and the consumers.
Okay.
Okay, Sake Visual. Sake Visual is probably my favorite English-based one. They haven't done just Otome Games, but like they got known for Alistar, which is a free game they released, gosh, like over 5 years ago. And you're basically in high school and you're playing this MMORPG and this guy pisses you off, and you know he goes to your school somehow, and you're like, I gotta find him. And of course, well, I'm not gonna tell you who it is. Part of the fun. It's not really that surprising. But so you have 3 guys that you can sort of fall in love with and you can find out who it is or not. It's really up to you. Also stat raising. Winter in Fairbrook is a stat raising plant game that they did with Winter Wolves. And you play this girl with pink hair and there's these 4 guys. You try to romance them. Tricky, you have to be friends with the guy you're going after and some other guy to get with the guy you want. So very easy in the balloon. Hey, did you have a question?
What's the stat reason?
Basically, you have menial tasks you have to do every day, like you go study and you get +2 in intelligence. And they have you,
That's not what they go for.
just facts, most English-based ones have stat raising, because people are like, it's not a real game, it doesn't have something to it other than visual novels.
Take a full on that.
Yeah. Okay, their newest game is Backstage Pass. It's in early access on Steam. It's amazing. It's almost as good as the Japanese ones. There's 4 guys, and then there's like 3 mystery friend routes. Pretty much everyone's figured them out already. Basically, you've been doing makeup art with your mom for a couple years now, and all of a sudden you're in Hollywood because your best friend's like this big music idol. The guy with the hair.
The hair? No. It's a ball.
Another one has a hat. So,
Who knows?
and all of a sudden, you're like in showbiz and you're helping do makeup on shows, and you're also going to college. Stat raising also has other things. Very easy to end up alone. Very easy if you don't do the stat raising correct. People have all kinds of like long forum posts on Steam of how to get the guy you want. It's that issue. But amazing CGs. One of my favorite artists does this. I want to say her name is Toya on like DeviantArt or something like that. So awesome artwork, lots of CGs, and I've met the writer Ayu Sakata at another convention. She's really nice and approachable and like one of the best customer service I've got. So favorite game. Has anyone heard of the Korean company Carrots?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you two have heard of everything. So these are games that originally released in Korean and they've been translated to English and they're about to announce their third game soon-ish. Both games are on Steam. This one's Stat Raisin, the other one isn't. So the one that's Stat Raisin is called Dandelion, and you're like this college kid and you have issues with your parents, they want you to be more than you are, and you're like a little depressed. So like, I'm a college student, can feel that. And all of a sudden you get this basket full of like 5 animals on your doorstep and you're like, what? And you have such a good soul, you're not gonna take them to the pounds, you're gonna raise them even though you're in college. Clearly she has too much time on her hand. And eventually, like once you get so far, all of a sudden you find one and he's not a cat anymore, he's a cat boy. So cool storyline, they're not actually originally cat animals. I'm just gonna put that out there because that sort of freaks people out a little bit. They're not actually animals. They're just, hot bishy guys with cat ears. And bunny ears. So the only route I finished is this guy with the black hair, brownish hair. He's a little bit of tsundere. I have a thing for those. So, and the second game that they have is called Nameless. And it's all about this girl who lives alone because her grandfather just died, and she collects ball-jointed dolls. Has anyone heard of ball-jointed dolls?
Yeah.
Yay! I feel so not alone. And all of a sudden, like they haven't played this one, but they come to life, and she's basically dating her ball-jointed dolls that have come to life. They have very odd themes for these games. I'm just going to point that out.
Very original.
But no Stat Raisin, so just pure visual novel. Knuckle Games is another one. Haven't played that one. Date Warp, pretty crappy, but it's like $5 on Steam. Roll Trap is like you're the guardian of the prince. Haven't got a chance to play that one either. I'm in college, I don't have quite as much time. My Magical Diary is on, it's sort of like Hogwarts. You're all of a sudden in basically Hogwarts you are. And there's like 3 guys that you can romance. One's a Steven guy, he's sort of the hot little jerk guy. One's your teacher, the guy who's all like standoffish, and then when you're with him, he's all sweet. Good game, Stat Raisin. Again, English novel based ones. Okay, Rose Verrete, they're like a German, I think part of the team is German, part of the team is Japanese, I'm not really completely sure. I can't say their name. Cafe O, they have a game. It's really depressing when you get the true ending. So if you don't like the present game, don't play it. Don't like their art style, I think it's pretty crappy, to be honest. But the point was to tell you about names and basically companies that have games in English. They're on like iPhone and Steam. So these are other EVNs. Cinders is basically a retelling of Cinderella. Very like not anime style artwork, very realistic, more American comic book hero, but it's gotten like rave reviews on Steam and crap, all this stuff. I haven't played it because I like the anime style. This is Blue Rose. This is another game, and the artwork is done by Deiji, who also does a lot of the artwork for games by Sake Visual. So that reason alone, I wanted it. Haven't had a chance to play it either, so don't know the premise, but everyone's been like, oh, this is great. Another game on Steam for like $5 is Pirate Heart. It's by the people who did like Wing Sakura. And they've been, is anyone on Steam like crazy? Oh, I'm so loud.
One crap for that one.
So Sekai something has been a publisher and they've been publishing games. They also did like Wing Sakura, which is this really fetishious game on Steam that people haven't really liked because it has like the big anime moves and stuff. But they also did that. That was their first game. It was Otome. The reason it's irritated people to death is it was originally released for free and now they're charging $5 and they took up the voices. Cute if you can get it on sale. It's a pretty cute little game. Pretty good CGs. You're this princess and you dare your brother that you're like, I can survive in the real world for a week. And your butler goes with you secretly, and then the other guy is, of course, that A+ student, irritating student that you have fights with. Next one. Here's some free games. Alm's Journey, haven't played, but it's done by Deiji, and she did the story and the artwork, so that alone means it's gonna be good. A Troll's Fairy Tale. Basically, you're this giant troll. And it's all about, you're like, I want my prince. Why don't I get a prince? Just being a troll doesn't mean I don't get a prince. And there's like only 2 guys. The girl, there's this thing called NaNoWriMo where you make a visual novel in a month. And that's when she did it. And then she actually went back later and added CGs because people liked it so much. Very short, like maybe an hour, not too bad, but it's free. So, Notch to Golf is another free game. Very pretty artwork. It reminds me a little bit of Diablock Lovers. If anyone knows what that is, their guys are vampires and they like to suck the blood and stuff. Very cute, very short, 30 minutes, maybe to an hour to get through. Very pretty artwork, and it's free. Planets, crappy artwork, super crappy, but it's free. Free is good, right? I'm in college, free is good. 3 guys, I'm pretty sure they just took the storyline from Starry Sky and then added psychic powers to it, because most people don't play both, and I played both, and I was like, these are the exact same guys from Starry Sky, but with crappy artwork. So if you're gonna pick one, go pick Starry Sky. But it's pretty good. They have a little bit of originality.
This is part of the panel, right? It's me. Not that I don't enjoy carry stuff, but Voltage, gosh, hey. All right, so if y'all don't know what Voltage is there anyone who hasn't played a Voltage game before? Shame on all of you. Go home and download it. Or you know what? If you have your phone, you can download it now. iPhone, Android. All right, so Voltage is one of the largest producers of English translated Otome games. They do all start out as Japanese games, so you do get a lot of, well, you get a little English, but we'll talk about some of the funny things later. There's about 23 games they've translated as of last week, so there's more coming. They are all coming, and they are awesome, and I think Voltage, honestly...
They have over like 40.
Yeah, they've got tons of other games that just haven't been translated out yet. You can download some of the Japanese ones if you want to, but frankly, unless your Japanese is really good, I wouldn't recommend it. Just get the ones that are translated, there's plenty of them. So we're gonna start, I kind of divide these up by kind of like what the story's about categories, so these 2 are getting ready. We're gonna start the princess games. There's Be My Princess and Be My Princess 2, and I'll be honest, I haven't played either of those, but you have, haven't you? I haven't played them because honestly, I really don't like the art style on this one, so I left them alone. But I mean, the basic premise is you're trying to get your prince, right?
The basic premise is you
basically end up at this castle party, which like every version of it differs. Like I know in the second game you're a cook and you're act to cook there. I don't remember what the first premise was. You just end up there. Oh yeah, Edward takes you. And you meet all these princes, and they're all interested in you.
They're all hot.
One thing about English games, they're not realistic. All these really hot prince guys are interested in you, and you're just this random person. And then you end up with them through like some trick or thing. Like one guy kidnaps you because he thinks you're this lord's like granddaughter, and he's like, "You should come visit me." And you're like, "What?"
Alright. Okay, but the last one on there at the bottom is A Knight's Devotion, which I absolutely love. And I'm really sad because a lot of times they do like a season 1, a season 2 and everything, and they didn't do that with that one. They stopped the game. And I'm sad because I like that game. I like it a lot. So, Haku is my favorite because he's an a-hole. I love him. He's such a jerk. So, The Knight's Devotion, the premise of that one is that you're sort of this farm girl and you live, with your grandma, who's not really your grandma, by the way, but we won't go into that. But you live with her in the country and they suddenly say, oh, you're actually a princess and you need to come back. So all these knights escort you back to the castle and it's all the antics that go down. And there's some pretty funny moments and some really serious moments, and I love that game. And I'm sad they didn't do anything else with it. Because they're stupid. All right. One of the bigger categories that Voltage has is the police detective kind of games, and I did throw the bodyguard game in there just because Subaru, who was on the front here, oh my god. Oh my god. I avoid playing that type of character most of the time when I play these games at first until I played all the others, and I'm like, okay, I have nobody else to play, I'm gonna play that one now. And I said, why did I do that? These are the best CGs, hands down. But My Sweet Bodyguard, again, another one of those stories where you don't know you're actually somebody important. So it turns out that you're the Prime Minister's daughter, and so they have to protect you. So you have all these awesome bodyguards, and by the way, Katsuragi is a beast. The old, who would know what I'm talking about? Katsuragi, you like Katsuragi too?
I haven't played it right.
We like old men. We discovered in Voltage games we like old men. Maybe because we're older, I don't know. But we like old men. Her Love in the Force is a newer game that's come out, and it actually is a little bit of a spin-off in a way of My Sweet Bodyguard, because they took 2 or 3 of the characters from the old game and moved them into Her Love in the Force. So like Goto, for example, is one of the new ones, and Ishigami, they both got pulled. You can play Goto in 2 different games. I'm so excited about it. He's so cute. Another one of the newer translations is True Love, Sweet Lies. I've only played 1 or 2 of the characters through that one so far, but they're currently still releasing the main 5, so I'm waiting on the boss, because like I said, I like old guys. So I'm waiting on him to come out. It has some really weird stuff in it. It's sort of, it's a detective story. You kind of get your photographer and you get yourself kind of mixed up with this detective agency and all this crap going down, so, and you end up having to live there with them, so. It's interesting, I have to say so far, so I'm gonna play some more of it. Honestly, I started to play Metro PD, and I was really disappointed in that game, so I haven't honestly played most of it. The art is awful, they all look really young. I don't like Metro PD. It is, but it only got recently translated, so it's really disappointing. All right, next category. Okay, my favorite category is the work office category. And there's a lot in this category, because I divided it up weird. Yeah, In Your Arms Tonight. That has like the most characters in any voltage game. Is In Your Arms Tonight. It's sort of this, you work in an interior design company, and like all these people come back. So like the guy on the cover there, he's the one that's like, you know, he was your boyfriend in high school, and he's this famous soccer player now, and he's come back, you know, he's come back in town, and he's trying to rekindle his relationship with you. But there's a lot of people in there. Oh yeah, that's right, you start off the game married, and the dude's a jerk. Yeah. So how they play, there's 2 different ways whether you play there's like, you can play an alternate ending with that one, so you can play it where you get divorced, and you can play it where you don't get divorced at first, so it's interesting.
So you can basically have a simulated affair.
Right, you can have an affair if you want, but in my defense, your husband's a jerk. However, your husband is also a character, so you can actually play him.
His route is amazing.
His route is actually pretty good, other than they made his CGs really dumb, especially the ocean one, he looks stupid. Let's see. Oh, finally, Love Again has recently been translated. I love this game. You're like this old girl. Well, you're not old, you're in your 30s. But you're much older than the other guys who are all in their 20s pretty much. And, so you're a cougar in this game. And you're a pastry chef. You get fired and then you get rehired with these really hot guys who are all working for you. And I have to admit, it's a really, really cute game. Wasn't as impressed with the first 2 characters, but the later ones have all been really adorable, and they just released the 5th one, so I'm gonna have to play them soon. Our 2-bedroom story, I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I love the storyline. Hated the first season CGs, and we're gonna talk about that later. But this one, you work for a publishing company, you basically get pulled to the big team, Season L, and you have to work with all of these really hot guys, because that's a horrible thing. And then, okay, Office Secrets. That game disappointed me utterly. I really, really was disappointed in that game. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that. You work with hot guys again. And then, okay, Kiss of Revenge is one of the more serious games that they've come out with, and unfortunately they haven't expanded on the 2nd and 3rd seasons yet for the translation. They've kind of paused on it, which is disappointing to me. But in this case, you're a doctor, and you are working at a hospital called ABC General, which actually, if y'all know what ABC means, it's crane, but it's cute. And you're working there with, of course, all these other hot guys. And you have basically, you wanted to be at that hospital because your mother died there, and it was the result of somebody's error. So you're trying to get back at them for the error, and it turns out that's the person who's running the whole hospital. So you're trying to kill him basically the whole time. And it ends either you try to kill him and you hurt the other dude pretty much, that you're trying to go after, or it ends and you like keep yourself from doing that, because this is one of those that has alternate endings. So I really like that game, and I wish they'd translate some more of it. And the guys are really, really cute in that game. And there's really old guys in that game, so of course I like it. Because the oldest one's like 40, I love it. Yeah. Okay, Slice of Life. And this one was kind of weird, the way I divided this up. There's 3 high school-based games, and they're like the only ones that are pretty much high school that are translated out, so. I honestly have not played Class Trip Crush yet, or First Love Diaries. I'm not really into high school kids, because frankly, that makes me a perv, so I avoid puns. However, I did, and Carrie will agree with me, Dreamy Days in West Tokyo, oh my god. That is an amazing game.
No. We're gonna talk about Joji here in a minute. Okay, just I was gonna say, my reason I liked it is, unlike some of the other Voltage games, like you pick a guy and you don't see the other ones in the route, this one, you interact with all the other guys no matter what, so you really get a take on their personality, and that personally just makes it a whole lot funner.
It makes you want to play all the other guys. I know why they did it.
Yeah, I played all of them.
But in this one, you come back to your hometown after like 8 years away, and you're still in high school in this game. At least in the first season, you're still in high school. Second season, you're in college. But yeah, of course, all your friends are all these little hot guys, and Ryu is stupid as hell, but he's so cute. And Joji's a perv in this game, in my opinion, because Joji is what, in his 30s, and you're supposed to be like 17. That's gross. But second season is not so gross anymore. But he's hunkalicious, so we get over it.
You get married at 16 in Japan.
Oh, that's true. That's the thing, is like a lot of Voltage games, they don't always tell you why things are done a certain way, but it's because it's a Japanese culture. And so if you don't understand Japanese culture, sometimes you're like, man, why are they talking to her like that and doing that? No, it's because it's normal over there. My Forged Wedding is one that they've released a gazillion characters for, and they keep adding to it. I'm like, but thank you that they added Haruka, because oh my goodness, that little mole. It's so cute. So my Forged Wedding, the premise of that game is that you've moved to the city, to Tokyo, and you're living with your uncle, who is not actually your uncle, and yes, you can date your uncle in this game. He's not really your uncle, he's just a much older, non-relative. Right, they just call him that because he's much older. But again, he's not your uncle, and he is seriously the best character in that game. Purple eyes. He does have purple eyes. He also looks a lot like my husband. I pick old guys with goatees and glasses a lot of times because it looks like my husband. I don't mean to, but it happens. But anyway, the premise is that you're looking for a job, but in the meantime, one of these guys is going to help you out, but you have to pretend to be married to him for a month. So it doesn't always work out. But it's a cute game, and I would definitely highly recommend that one. However, I'm saving the one in the middle for last because that's my favorite of these 5. Is Serendipity Next Door. It is the freaking cutest game ever. I really love it. The storyline's great. It's another one of those stories. You live in an apartment building with all these guys. So they're either your neighbor or upstairs or whatever, or it's the apartment office manager. And so in that one, they just sort of all keep showing up. All the stories are kind of different, how you interact with them. There's characters that are jerks and some that are more sweet than others. So
Totally realistic.
It's fairly, that one's the most realistic of all of them, I have to admit, but except that there's still all these hot guys living in the building. Okay, here's the ones I want to put in the other category, because they don't really fall in with the rest of the categories I made up. Love Letter from Thief X. That one they just released some new characters on that again make absolutely no sense. They've thrown these characters in. It's one of those marketing things, I think. Yeah. But in this game, you're joining a team. You're an art curator. You work at the art museum, and you've run in with these guys who call themselves the Black Foxes. And they are foxy, let me tell you. But anyway, they're all thieves that steal art for the greater good, essentially. So I'm not going to go into detail about what that means. And then, of course, there is a guy who's in his 30s and actually sits like Josh is in one of the CGs. And he also has glasses and a goatee for most of the game. And then he shaves it off and takes his glasses off, and I'm very disappointed because he looks like a 10-year-old then. I'm very disappointed. They took him away from me. He was cute, and they took him away. So, okay, Kissed by the Baddest Bidder. That was one that I thought was really, really dark when I first started playing it. Because the premise of this one is that you work as a maid in Japan's only casino. I guess because casinos are illegal in Japan, that's the point there. You work in Japan's only casino, and you accidentally break this priceless statue, but they're having all these black market auctions that you didn't know were going on at your hotel. And in order to pay it back, you get sold to the highest bidder. It's a really dark way to start a game. You're in a cage on a stage being sold, and no rhyming intended, damn it. Anyway, so you have these 5 different gentlemen. You have one that's a mafia boss, one actually owns the hotel, another one is a thief, one's an artist, and then the other one's actually a cop who's kind of rogue. And he is hunky. He looks like my husband again. Hey, sweetie. Okay, one of these that honestly I haven't played 10 Days with My Double, but I started to play that one. Did you play it? I started to play it, I got through the prologue, and I honestly didn't finish it, but the premise of that is like you're gonna die or something like that, isn't it? And you make a deal.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're,
the devil.
they're supposed to kill you.
They're supposed to kill you, but they don't. They give you like 10 days to prove it, don't they? Or something like
10 days to fix it or
Okay. Yeah. So honestly, I haven't played that one, but okay. Enchanted in the Moonlight. That's one honestly, it's been out for a little while now, but I didn't play it until recently because I'm not really into the animal kind of thing about it, and if you're into that, great. And that's why I avoided it. But then I started to play it, and it's actually really good. And there's one, and he was the first character I played. Though you bet your buns I did. He's a wolf. He is cute. But there's a whole bunch. There's a wolf. There's a fox. They're all demons, and basically, has anyone read the manga Blackbird? No. Okay, so 2 people know, but it actually is very similar to that premise, and I really thought they ripped off Blackbird for it.
Probably did.
Because it's basically, there's these demons, they come, apparently you have all this extra power or something like that, and basically, if they marry you and have a baby with you, they'll get all that power. So, that's the point, you know. Rape! They do, some of them try to rape you at the beginning, but then we get past that. So it seems like it's, like honestly I thought it was a complete rip-off of Blackbird because they even have a Tango demon. I was like, this is a rip-off of Blackbird. but he's actually pretty cute. It ended up being a really good story, so I gotta say I couldn't, I passed that one off. I included these 2 ones. These are the only 2 that haven't been updated since the iPhone was updated. So Seducing the Sleepless City, I've had problems trying to play, and honestly, I'm not crazy about the format of that one, so I'm not gonna go into that one. Pirates in Love is great in the first season, and the second season just gets weird. It gets really, really weird. I mean, Eduardo is hunky-hunkalicious, man. But they changed whoever drew the CGs in the second season, and so they made them all look weird. But the premise of that one is you're just like this girl and you end up on a pirate ship, and so they're gonna throw you to the sharks, or you can help work for them and say you go ahead and but you end up having to bunk with somebody. Drown. Pick Eduardo if you play that game. Pick Eduardo. Do it. And it's not to be because they're Japanese, you know, you can notice that the skin tone is all kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's the only game with a black guy.
True fact.
And he's awesome.
He's not in the Japanese version.
He's not in the Japanese version. They actually changed it. But he's actually a really cool character, so I recommend him highly, and they need to do that more often. But it's a really good game. Okay, Carrie, you want to talk about this one?
So I basically just listed games as sort of like Otome-ish elements, or basically any game where you date someone. If you ever play any game by BioWare is like known for romances. That's actually one of the reasons I got into Otome Games. Baldur's Gate 2 came out in like
2000.
Okay, he knows 2000. I've played that game over 20 times with mods because it's such an old game. The modding community is still like making storylines and new characters romance.
You could date a
And then
squid
there's,
dude
like-
who reads minds. Or eats brains. There's a mod where you can play a squid dude who eats brains.
Get your own panel. I can say
Michael.
He's my friend. So, probably what they're biggest known for is Mass Effect, which I really like Caden. His voice actor is like played Jiminy Cricket in Once Upon a Time. Not a cute guy, but such a sexy voice. And then there's Dragon Age, which is anyone has heard about Dragon Age Inquisition. I've been playing that 150 hours over my entire Christmas break. I didn't learn the 500 kanji I was supposed to. Whoops. For Dragon Age series, I like Alistair, Fenris, and then Inquisition. When I play as a female, I'm like Cullen. When I play as a guy, I'm like Dorian, because he's such a sexy gay guy. If anyone played Fire Emblem Awakening, it has this mini, very, very smallish part.
It's Carrie, it's not me for once.
That is our pizza coming, so our staff doesn't starve.
Woo!
But basically, if you pair up people, you can get married. And you have your own little character that can be male or female. And then you also pair up all your friends. And then they have kids that come from the future and fight with you later. It's really weird. Not gonna lie. Probably biggest known one is like Harvest Moon, Rune Factory 4, because the first 3 you couldn't be a girl, which the Story of Seasons is a new Harvest Moon that's actually still done by Harvest Moon people and didn't get their name taken over. It's actually good. There's Hometown Story, which is done by people who did Harvest Moon. ever met. Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is like the MMORPG that's based off Knights of the Old Republic that BioWare did recently. It's an MMORPG, and you have these little guys that follow you, and you can date them. It's really weird, but it's voice acted, it's by BioWare, so it's pretty awesome. Jade Empire, Neverwinter Nights, those are all old BioWare games. Basically go Google BioWare, and especially the old ones, because you'll get mods. And mods are amazing, because they're better stories.
You ready to move on? I think this is our likey stuff. Okay, so we wanted to just do some gushing for a little bit. We wanted to talk about our favorites, and if you have something super awesome you need to tell us, please tell us. So we wanted to discuss what our favorite games and characters were, and I've kind of already touched on a couple of these. For me, Serendipity Next Door is probably hands down my favorite game, and that is because of the character Keiichi. If anyone, has anyone played that game? Okay, I wish I had a picture of him up here. He is extremely feminine, and honestly, at first I was like, okay, he's not going to be a character, there's no way. He's kind of like the punchline of everything. He's just sort of there as comic relief. No, he is a character, and he is awesome, and he is cute. He's kind of really weird, but he's awesome. Other than that, In Your Arms Tonight I also really like, just because there's so many different characters you can play in that game, and they keep adding them. And that those storylines are really, really good, and they keep actively adding on to the games, so there's more and more to do every time you get in there. Favorite characters, of course, Kenny and I both have a big thing for Joji. If he was real, we'd fight over him. Probably.
To that point where I should almost just steal your husband, apparently.
No, you can't have that one. He's mine. We also both like Kumihiko from My Forged Wedding. Again, old man. And then we both also like Seiji Goto from My Sweet Bodyguard and Her Love in the Force, because, damn. Can't carry your favorites.
So I'm going to actually start from the bottom and go up, because I'm weird. From Alice in Country of Hearts, obviously I haven't played this, but one of the whole reasons I got into Otome Games was because I wanted to romance the Mad Hatter. His name is Blood Decree. I have a Mad Hatter costume that I wear to other conventions that I don't work. I got a horrible Trojan my first year of college trying to download this game and get the tools to translate it into English. Didn't end well, don't do it. Probably the next game is Lauren the Amazon Princess. It's by Winterwolves. You can be a guy or a girl, and there's like this gladiator guy, hunky guy, and his name is Kiki, and he's all like, I want to protect Lauren, and you're like, no, I protect Lauren, and you fight in like little rival bands and estrogen, testosterone. I don't know. I also like yaoi, so I played it. So from Hakuoki, my favorite is Sanosuke. Well, this isn't really that big a surprise. Basically, like the Senshigumi members get turned into demons when they die by taking like basically the red elixir of life from Fullmetal Alchemist. He's the only one that doesn't turn into a demon, which just means the engines are better and he's not going to eventually die because of it. Otherwise, all the guys, I'm like, oh my god, these guys die no matter what I do. I mean, they're going to show it, but I know they're going to. And then Backstage Pass, which is by Sake Visual. The only route I've played is a John Brandon. I played it once and got a loan, and I was like, I really like John. He's the older guy. He's like 40, and you're 18. I do have a thing for older guys. I'll say that.
Ladies.
And then from Dandelion, my favorite was Jiso, and he was the guy with black hair and cat ears, and he's a little bit tsundere, and he's like love only me. So he's a little bit possessive, and he does have a bad route that you can get on, and it's like pretty dark. That game can get dark and depressing, actually.
It's really bad. There's a lot of tsundere characters in all of these games. Like, that's a big thing. So there's a lot of really, really possessive characters, which apparently is cute in Japan.
Not in real life.
Okay, now we have some opinions on some things here, because we're opinionated people. So we had some games that we thought were surprisingly good and some that were surprisingly bad. For me, I was honestly surprised how good Kissed by the Baddest Bidder was, because I really thought it was going to be, like I said, super dark. You know, it's like you're being sold on a stage. You know, you're worth $1 million now or whatever, and you have to pay it back essentially. It can be a really dark game. Like I said, the Mafia boss kind of gets a little bit dark from time to time. Not they all, but I thought it was going to be bad, but all the characters are really good and the CGs are amazing. And then I mentioned Guilty Alice earlier because honestly, I really liked what I've played so far of it. I don't usually play Solmar games because I don't like their format oftentimes, and I don't like their CGs other times. But considering this was a free one where I don't have to sit and do other crap the entire time, I went ahead and played it, and I actually really enjoyed it. So Honestly, I thought the Mad Hatter drop was pretty cool. He's like all over the place, I love it. The character was surprisingly good. I already kind of mentioned his Keiichi, because like I said, I thought he was going to be... I don't know what I thought, honestly. I just thought he was going to be the punchline of everything, and he ended up being actually pretty cool. And then I was really disappointed in Office Secrets, because like the opening's pretty good. Like the prologue will kind of trick you that it's a good game, and it's not. All the characters, well, like the one I really wanted to play, Koji, like all his, like the guy you've known for a long time, he's really cute and sweet and everything, and then every single one of his CGs was terrible. And then there's like 2 CGs. Like all the other characters have 4 or 5, and he has 2. Why did they do that? Mean. I didn't appreciate that. So I'm gonna let Carrie talk about her surprising things, and then we'll talk about the funny moments and the WTF moments.
So probably of the ones I talked about, the surprisingly good game was the Prince Maker. The art's not that great. It's a stat raisin, don't really care for those. But cute storyline, there's a bunch of different options. Like, you can actually get it ended where as the caretaker you end up with the prince. And then like, you can be like Demon King, you can be an Angel King. He's this weird little half-blood kid, so no one likes him. But surprisingly good. Surprisingly good character was from My Magical Diary by Otome Games, and it was Professor Grabiner. And yeah, he's that old guy. He's also, he's like the definition of that crotchety old man who like hates being a teacher. Like, you know that teacher who hated you in high school is like, I hate children. He is that person. And you eventually like, end up with him through like various events, and he's like super sweet and protective, and like you're sort of like forced together, and he's like, I'll take care of you, because he's the adult. So.
Perv. You want to talk about your disappointing one? Oh, talk about your disappointing one real quick.
Most disappointing was Yojimbo. It is just like full of comedy, and I just didn't like it. I was like, I like more serious games, like every 5 seconds was like a joke. Now granted, they have a lot of slash CGs where it shows like the guys like bathing together, or like, yeah, it's definitely an odd game and older. And I don't know if like it was supposed to be like all this comedic stuff, or it just got like messed up in translation, because they used to do that a lot in games. But it's just meh. It's like $17, and I don't think it's worth it. So.
Okay, I guess we're going to talk about either funny or WTF moments. The first one I want to mention is Yuriko from True Love, Sweet Lies. Okay, remember I told you True Love, Sweet Lies is a detective story. Yuriko is a goat. Not only is Yuriko a goat, she lives in the office building, she's a cross-dressing goat, so she's actually a boy, she wears makeup, and she has human teeth. And she smiles, and she's really creepy. And apparently, if there's an offshoot thing that you can find for her, and it's like her diary. Like, she's a goat, she can't write a diary. So this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So Yuriko freaks me out. She pops up in like everyone's story every once in a while. I'm like, why are you here? Like, you don't further the story, she's a punchline. And yeah, she's a cross-dressing goat. So, whatever. That's floats your boat, cross-dressing goats for you. My other one, I mentioned earlier, the season 1 CGs from Two Bedroom Story. Those characters, their sprites are freaking adorable. Every single one of them is cute, and who the heck drew those? Because they're all from the same angle, that like 3/4 angle with their head slightly up. You know what I'm talking about? It's the worst freaking angle ever. They all look really, really awful. And it's like every single picture. It just looks like a teenager drew it. I'm sorry, not professionals. It looks really bad. The other thing that I find very funny in all Voltage games, because every single one of them has it, are their alternate brand names. Because they're trying not to break copyright laws, so you know what they're talking about. My favorite one to this day is Monkey Mouse. But they have a bunch of these, but Monkey Mouse cracks me up every time. Because you know, they're going to Disneyland, but it's not Disneyland, it's Dosneyland or Dasneyland. Like, it's always something stupid every single time. So you know what they mean, but at the same time, it's like you could have come up with something more creative than that. So Carrie, now it's your turn.
So funny game, How to Fool Boyfriend. I mean, like, I'm not even gonna like attempt to say like you're not dating pigeons, because you see like their characters flash for the intro where they look like anime guys, but the entire rest of the game is a picture of a pigeon. Like, the guy who made the game took pictures of pigeons he owns and put them in the game. And it was great because I got my coworker to play this game, and she was like, what in the world? And it's completely The game is supposed to be comedic. It's completely making fun of the Otome dating sim genre. And there's also this really long forum post of this guy posting screenshots from the game, and everyone else is like, no, you're photoshopping this. This is fake. And then eventually, after like 20 forum pages, they're like, oh my god, this is real. What in the world?
There's 2 roll tags in it at least.
And then my next category that I added was endings with the most feels. Does anyone else use the word feels?
Yes.
Because my friends use it at school. Yeah, Dandelion. So, not gonna lie, Dandelion is amazing, has great art, has stat rating, so amazing game. The endings are very open-ended. You either get a very bad ending, or you get a very open-ended good ending. Like, you know they're gonna end up together, but it doesn't show them, like, making out or anything at the end. It's just like, but they might not get together. What if they don't meet each other after the game? It's just like, but great game.